Yo, you know what time it is. It's your boy Trevor David Jones back up at it with another round. Season 1, Episode 5 of Ahsoka, Shadow Warrior. Why is this show like this? Why is it like this? Like I said, they done broke their foot off in this show, okay? It's insane. Another crazy episode. You see me out here by the Japanese River. Let's jump right in with the positives. All right, you got to start off with Anakin Skywalker. He is a positive into and of himself. He is just a positive, period. Why is he so cool? Let me know. Anakin, of course, is one of my favorite characters in fiction, a lot of people's favorite character. He's just too dope. Darth Vader, the power, the drip. His performance, just his attitude and his demeanor, the jokes, the wisdom, and the delivery by Hayden Christensen was OP. It was ridiculous. Like, that's literally what we want to see. And like I said, I didn't watch any additional trailers after the first one. I never watch additional trailers. So I didn't really know Anakin was going to be in this show to begin with until the last one when he just came out of nowhere. And I definitely didn't know that he was going to have like a substantial role. I didn't know none of that. But here we are at the forefront, Anakin Skywalker just being dope. Not only is his appearance a bright light on this show, it's a bright light on all Star Wars properties, okay? Movies and shows. It's just a bright moment in all of them. And I'm going to tell you something else. It's a bright moment on the entire Disney Plus network. His appearance, Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen, his presence on this show is a bright spot on all of Disney Plus. I'm dead serious. It was just that dope. So let's keep jumping right in. So, Ahsoka comes up and they're in the astral plane. They don't really know what to say to each other. So after like a brief moment, she's like, you look the same. He goes, you look old. With the jokes. He instantaneously comes in with the jokes, man. Like, that's what you want to see. It's just the levity, the wit, and just, again, the cool demeanor of Anakin Skywalker. That one moment, that one little exchange between Ahsoka and Anakin told the audience everything you needed to know about the rest of the episode. This man's chilling in the astral plane, but he has not lost a step. He's a comedian, as well as a lot of other things, but man, it was too sharp and it was too good. And while I'm on the topic, I mentioned a little bit before, but Anakin's drip, bro, the robes, just got the hair fresh out of the prequels, like the lightsaber, just sick. Just the drip alone. I was like, man, why is this dude so cool? It's Anakin Skywalker. We all know what he's about. So they somewhere along the line, I think all people, the fandom, all of us, a lot of people, forgot that Anakin Skywalker is a Jedi Master. In addition to all the other things he does, he is, he's a prodigy, born without a father, born from the Force. He's also a genius, building droids when he was a kid. He's a master pilot, a master duelist. He's absurdly powerful, possibly the most powerful Force user in history, some have said. He's just Anakin Skywalker. You forget that he went through the Jedi pipeline. In addition to all that, he's a legit Jedi Master, He can teach, he can get a Padawan. He's deep in the Jedi game. The robes, the sash, like, it's just crazy. As he was talking and just doling out more and more bits of wisdom, it's like, oh, people forgot that Anakin's a Jedi Master, just on top of everything else, which is just insane. So they're going through Ahsoka's memories, which is why she's here. She fell into the water because there's something in her life that she hasn't moved past, she hasn't figured out. So in order to progress, she's got to figure that out. And big shout out to the show for having that element in there. That's a big part of life, of existence. And they really included that in there. So they're going through her memories. They go back to the Clone Wars, and he's like, no kidding, like, again, the jokes. He's just too sharp. And as they're running through her memories, she goes, I don't understand. He looks back and goes, that's your problem. Wise. This dude is wise, in addition to everything else. That's why you're here. There is something, you said it, there's specifically something that you don't understand. So when you do, you can move on. Just for him to say that was just, it was OP. Like, he's got the gas. He still has the gas. So they keep going through her memories, and she's trying to piece it together, like, why I'm here. And she hints that, war is a bit much, and maybe she wants to stop fighting. She asks Anakin, what if I don't want to fight anymore? What if I want to stop fighting? He looks at her and says, you'll die. One of the most clutch moments of the episode, easily. Because it wasn't a moment where it's like, oh, you can stop fighting and go take a rest. You can stop fighting, you can go chill. You can do whatever. That isn't even what they were talking about. That man says straight up, you got two options. If you stop grinding, if you stop going after it, you'll die. Chill is not an option. Like, that's not in the selection list. Again, the extreme level of wisdom that he was delivering for the whole episode. It was deep. There was a lot going on in this episode. And as he walks around after delivering this crazy line, she looks at his back in just straight shock. Good job to the actress. That was like real shock if you look at her face. And not because of the line he just delivered saying, hey, you ain't no chill option. You either fight or you die. He starts like transforming into Darth Vader, like flashes in that moment. Amazing cinematography, amazing video work, just very creative. And so there's a double dosage of why she's looking shocked in that scene. So we cut back to the material world and we join the cockpit with Syndulla and Huyang, a great moment. So they're kind of just chopping it up a little bit. And they start talking about Anakin. Syndulla's like, what was he like? The way they animated the droid, his expression, everything was just so crazy. He's like, intense. And that was a great moment. We don't get to see a lot of in-universe talk about Anakin. He's a very enigmatic, a very mysterious figure, to say the least. So just seeing other characters talk about him, like, in-universe, that was cool. You almost need, like, a permit, to mention his name, Anakin Skywalker. So he has that level of power. So to just get another opinion on him beside, like, Jedi or people we knew him, it was cool. That was a great moment. So now we cut back to the astral plane, and they're going back and forth. Ahsoka and Anakin are still talking. She's still depressed. He's like, you're my Padawan. You'll receive all of me, like all my skills, everything that made me. And she's like, yeah, all of you, alluding to something else. At which point, Anakin goes, oh, in typical too cool fashion. So this is what this is about? He's like, so this is what we talking about? Hayden Christensen, Anakin, just too cool. And this is the heart of the matter. And Ahsoka delivers a great line. She goes, yes, Anakin, you were far more powerful and dangerous than any of us realized. And that starts it off. Anakin's like, yo, you learned nothing. Back to the beginning. And we've reached the pause in Ahsoka's mindset. She's frozen at the moment that Anakin became Darth Vader. Now, in Rebels, she fought him. I haven't seen Rebels, but I know more or less what happened. She fought Darth Vader. That's not something that a lot of people haven't even seen Darth Vader. She fought him. She's his Padawan. Heartbreaking moment. So she's stuck mentally, emotionally, so on and so forth, spiritually, at the moment that Anakin became Darth Vader. And I'm going to tell you something. That's a valid moment to be stuck on. If you're going to be stuck somewhere in your existence, you can't hate on her for being frozen at that point in time. But it doesn't matter. In order to progress with her life, she has to get past that. So that's why she's here right now. So yeah, there's just a lot of emotion, a lot of different things involved with him transforming into Darth Vader. But like he says, oh, this is what, you mad. So they have to go back to the beginning. And they square up, which again, one of the best moments in the episode, one of the best moments in the season so far. Just go back and watch it again. Hayden Christensen, I'm not sure if he has a stuntman in this particular scene or what, what's going on. It looked like it may have been him, but it's, Hollywood, you never really know. But the actor in that scene, the movements, just go look at the movements of them fighting. Bro, he was already on fleek when they were fighting at first, Jedi to Jedi, but he turned on the Sith eyes, he whipped out the red lightsaber. He was in like top form, bro. His legs, like the fluidity of his actions, everything. Go watch it again. It was just a great display in like agility and like physical ability. It was awesome. I was like, yo, this man, and there was a slight difference between his Jedi fighting style and his Sith fighting style. Definitely the energy he was putting into it. He was squaring up. I'm like, man, could you really? I was just, can you fight this dude? Not really. I mean, you really can't. But yeah, just shout out to the actual physical movement of that scene. He was on fleek, man. Like this man, he had the motion. It looked great. So they're going back and forth, and Ahsoka gets the better of him. She grabs his lightsaber, holds it to his neck. She's like, I'll take you out right now. And, but turns it off and doesn't kill him in the astral plane. And that was the moment. That was the moment. In that particular moment, Ahsoka climbed over all the emotions she felt about Anakin becoming Darth Vader. Because it wasn't just one thing. The anger that, he quote-unquote betrayed her, betrayed everybody, the sadness of her master, her friend, leaving her, the fear, because that was kind of what she mentioned in their back and forth, like, all of you. She's like, yo, could something like this happen to me? All these different emotions that were caught up in Anakin becoming Darth Vader, rightfully she felt them, but you still have to get over them. And in that moment, she did. She moved past it. She's told him, I choose to live. I'm going to live. And he said, hey, there may be hope for you yet, as he turns back into his Jedi eyes and fades off back into the astral plane, just disappears. Lesson learned. Amazing moment. This whole episode was amazing. I mean, it's just great. So at this moment, Ahsoka has earned her trip back to the surface world. So again, they cut to the droid, and they give Huyang the funniest lines. They do. Her and Syndulla are about to start talking, so they give the droid the kid. And he's like, can you train me? The droid's like, no. Do you know how to build a lightsaber? Yes. Can you show me how to build one? No. Classic. Huyang is just a funny element in the show. They do give him the funniest lines, and they gave him the funniest lines again. So, at this point, Ahsoka and Syndulla start talking. Because now it's time to get to the heart of the matter. We got you out the water. We got past the pleasantries. How do we find Ren and stop Thrawn from coming back or hinder this plan somehow? Ahsoka's like, whew, we got to figure it out. So Syndulla gives her the map that Balin busted up. She's like, well, maybe, Ren left some sort of memory. She left something in this. Man, this scene right here, as if we didn't already know that Jedi are OP enough. I mean, they're dang near invincible. These motherfuckers are like all powerful. She's like, let me see if she left some memories in it. Ahsoka touches the busted up map and like uses the Force and starts listening and like gets the conversation, the events between Ren, Balin, Shin Hati was there, and deduces appropriately. She's like, oh yeah, Ren hopped on the ship with them. Excuse me? Yo, empathic like memory sensing? What level of power is that? She just grabbed the map and she was like, I got it. I literally heard what they said. Nah, we all knew Jedi were OP. We know Jedi are just like all powerful. She stood on the wing, she fought the spaceship one-on-one. She figured out that initial puzzle in episode 1. What was that about? Like, we're talking about some high tier crazy stuff. I already knew she was OP, and they made her more OP in this series. She grabbed the map and just listened to the memories out of it. Come on, man. You can't do anything to these people. You can't. Batman is my favorite fictional character, but that invalidates his whole career. Like, if you can just touch things and get the memories out of them, a detective? You don't need that. The only thing more advanced than that is Silver Surfer, who can, in any area, conceivably across the whole universe, but in any area can summon up the memories from summon up the events from whatever happened in that area throughout time. So he can just stand in a certain place and hologram style rewind all the events that happened and just watch them like just right there. That's the next level above. But what Ahsoka did is ridiculous. It's not whack. No, it's insane. So they made the Jedi even more all-powerful in that moment, and it was sick. So Ahsoka knows exactly what happened because she heard the conversation. And, now the next step is Syndulla tells her, okay, that's dope. We're out here. Now we actually have to find Ren. Ahsoka's like, all right. She leaves her to do the hardest thing, of course. She's a Jedi. At that moment, the Purgles show up. The Purgles. I love the Purgles. They're great. And I like seeing the Purgles because, like I said, I haven't watched Rebels. And they literally, wrapped up the plot of that show. They captured Thrawn with the tentacles and, absconded away with him. So Purgles, they hold big weight in the Star Wars universe. But I didn't see that. For me, I did see Mandalorian when the Purgles, I just called them hyperspace squids, were flying beside Grogu and Din Djarin in the hyperspace, when they were traveling. I thought that was cool. Never seen nothing like that. I'm like, yo, what is that? So for me, the Purgles are a payoff to that in the present, which is cool. Like Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, they know what to do. So we've got another element that's just finding its way all the way through the show. So the Purgles show up. Ahsoka's like, I got an idea. So she flies the ship up there, and once again, they make Jedi even more OP on top of OP. Ahsoka flies up to these Purgles, okay? To the biggest one, as Hu Yang said, just holds her hand out on some Jurassic Park type stuff and communicates with the Purgles, and ostensibly lets them know that she's trying to fly to go, find and or save Ren and kind of where they might be. Interspecies, like animal communication. I told y'all these because they're all powerful. Jedi are just all powerful. If there's something that needs to be done, they can just do it. Apparently, if there's a problem that needs to be solved, they can just solve it. Communicating with the Purgles, the psychic dimension. I was like, yo, they can just do anything. So she lets the Purgle know, like, hey, I need to get to this other galaxy. Come on. Again, we already thought they were all powerful. We already thought they were OP. What kind of power is that? So she's like, Hu Yang, just get inside. He's like, okay, you best come inside. So they fly the ship into the Purgle's mouth, and they're going to take off. And and in true Flash Thor style, as all this is happening, she's smiling. I told y'all, these OP characters, when they are, when they're in any situation that seems even slightly adverse, they're so powerful, and they're so used to coming out on top that they smile in these situations. And Ahsoka was smiling. She's like, we got this. Hu Yang even asked her. He's like, do you know where we're going? She's like, no idea. Smiling as she delivers the line. He said, what? She said, well, going somewhere is better than going nowhere. I'm going to tell you something. That's facts. That's actual wisdom. So she dropped another wise line a la Anakin. No, Ahsoka's pretty wise too. I mean, she's Anakin's Padawan. Think about that. So she delivers the line, and they roll off into space, move the fleet out of the way, and take off into hyperspace to go to the other galaxy. And that brings the episode to a close. Bro, OP. Do I even got to say it? It's OP. Y'all hear me yelling? It was OP. Y'all know it's hot in Japan. I got to wipe the sweat off. Don't worry about that, though. So, on to the room for improvements. Nothing. And not just because this episode was so OP. I mean, I didn't see anything. The cinematography was all there. There was nothing I could call a plot hole. The pacing was essentially perfect. The acting was all there. There's nothing I can take away from it. So, room for improvements in this particular episode, nothing. The rating? A 20 out of 5. Yeah. This episode gets a 20 out of 5, okay? The last episode got a 15, so this is the second episode that breaks my scale on this show. The second one. And that's very welcome, because no show has just broken my scale since My Hero Academia, which had multiple episodes over 10, like a 10 out of 5, a couple 15s thrown in there. But it's My Hero Academia. It's OP. We know how great that show is. This is the second episode of this season of this show to break the scale, and it needs to. And I'm gonna tell you something. Why is the main reason it breaks the scale? Y'all know what it is. We don't even have to ask twice. Anakin Skywalker. Just his presence in this episode completely obliterated my scale. It just did. Just him standing there. Even if he didn't say anything, which just added to it, but just him literally standing there, like with the hair, with the drip, that would have made it a 15. Anakin is just too dope. His suit, the Jedi robes, the classic black robes, sick, the hair. And then he starts talking. He's a comedian. Hayden Christensen's delivery, his acting, obviously makes this a 20 as well. And Anakin's character of just too cool, too confident, hilarious. It's just what we wanted to see. And then he breaks out the wisdom. You forget, you're used to seeing Anakin. You kind of think of him as a child because episode 1, that's kind of how we met him. He's an adult. He's very wise. He's a Jedi master. He's full of all these just very intelligent sayings. We know he's a genius as well. And then he breaks out the lightsaber. So this dude can squab with anyone, literally. He fought in the Jedi style. Then he mixed it up and fought in the Sith style, which was actually even more sick, if I'm being real. Like the fluid, I can go on all day. What really drugged us over the edge was the presence of Anakin Skywalker. Just sick. But I probably would have still given it a 15, like a 15 just for Anakin. What made it a 20 was the inclusion of a very powerful life principle, which they wove into the fabric of this episode. If you are stuck at a certain point, you'll keep going there until you move past. And that's big. That's big for life. That's huge. So Ahsoka was frozen at the moment that Darth Vader came into existence, that Anakin transformed to the Darth Vader. That's a very valid moment to be frozen at, but even given that, you still have to get over it. And she did in this episode. So just for including a lesson of that kind of gravity, that kind of weight in like a real life sense, that put this at a 20. And yeah, this episode was completely insane. And that's it. Yo, check out my previous review of Ahsoka episode 4, Fallen Jedi, when she fell into the water, where she had to start learning the lesson, where Anakin made his first appearance in the astral plane. Great episode. Check out the review for that. Check out my most recent video, Through the Looking Glass, where I take people who are outside of Imaginist culture, who don't necessarily, know much about it, because when we're in Imaginist culture, we're deep in the game. We're deep, sometimes too deep. Other people maybe know Batman, they know Spider-Man, they know Iron Man, but they definitely, they aren't as well woven in as we are. But I'm gonna tell you something, a lot of people want to learn, and they see Marvel obviously is very big, it's huge, worldwide. So it's like, what's going on with it? So the goal of creating that series was to actually get other people's points of view, talk to them, see what they know, see if they want to learn more, and they usually do, and then throw in some recommendations, So that's Through the Looking Glass. First guest was Leia Z of Homes by Leia Z Real Estate. Awesome person, awesome guest. She did a great job. So check out that video as well. And that's it. You know what I say, because I always mean it. I genuinely mean it. I'm not playing out here. What do I say? Stay up. You can't be this way in life, man. You got to get up. You got to get out that water. Water is nice, but you got to get out the water. You know what I'm saying? You got to get back to the surface world. You got to learn those lessons. Shout out Hayden Christensen. Shout out Anakin Skywalker. Shout out Rosario Dawson. And until I see y'all next time, which will be very soon, flexing out in Japan, the river, it's a bridge, sunlight, peace.